Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 183 based on novel. So let's start. In the void, Wang Lin's speed became faster and faster as he got more and more familiar with his corporeal yang cultivation. The origin energy inside his body was dense, and as it cycled inside his body, he felt slight discomfort. Every step he took would contain origin energy, making him feel like he was breaking through space. This was far too different from before. At this moment, Wang Lin was a bit uncoordinated and his body was trembling slightly. He even vaguely felt that he had become one with the world. As long as he put his mind to it, he would be able to achieve it. This feeling became stronger and stronger until an impulse appeared in his heart. In the end, this impulse became even stronger. He looked at the void and felt as if he was really going to merge with the world. It was as if the void in the world was his body, but this feeling was somewhat absurd. Wang Lin's calm and intellectual mind told him that it was impossible, but the feeling from his body and origin soul felt so real. His eyes lit up, and after silently pondering for a moment, Wang Lin let go of his reason. He closed his eyes and used the feeling from his origin soul to take a step. When he took this step, the void suddenly trembled. It was as if the void was a pool of water, and Wang Lin's step had caused countless ripples to spread across this pool. At the same time, Wang Lin's origin energy began to cycle. It diffused around his body and began to fuse with the world, forming a mysterious connection. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's body disappeared. There was a spell that was faster than instant movement at the nascent soul stage, one that was beyond teleportation at the ascendant stage, and there was the technique of using countless greater teleportations at once. However, this spell was even faster. This spell was called spatial bending. This was a spell that ancient cultivators could only use once they formed their origin souls. In the current cultivation world, only those at the Nirvana Scrya stage could use this origin spell. Not every second step cultivator could comprehend this spell. This had nothing to do with talent but with one's comprehension of origin energy. The Blood Ancestor was rapidly fleeing countless kilometers from where Wang Lin disappeared. His cultivation level had been reduced to corporeal yang stage, so he couldn't use many spells. At the moment, his origin soul was also damaged, making him even weaker. Wang Lin, once I recover, I swear I'll kill you. The Blood Ancestor moved extremely fast and was like a shadow as he flew through the void. After a long time, he finally relaxed and muttered, "That brat Wang Lin should be unable to catch up to me now. I must find a place and use the secret method to recover my cultivation back to the Nirvana Scrya stage as soon as possible." After pondering for a while, the Blood Ancestor made up his mind. However, at this moment, his expression changed greatly and he began to escape again without any hesitation. There was a ripple behind him and Wang Lin's figure walked out. When Wang Lin's right foot landed, his eyes opened. In the distance, the Blood Ancestor had almost lost his wits and was completely shocked. Spatial bending. This person hasn't reached the Nirvana Scrya stage yet. How could he use a spell that only second step cultivators can use? No way. The Blood Ancestor quickly escaped and felt bitterness in his heart. It is often said that those who can step across the yin and yang stage in one go will often be at the peak of second step. Could this be true? The Blood Ancestor was aghast at this. Even before his cultivation level had dropped, he had only managed to touch the edge of this spell that couldn't be learned and only comprehended. As far as he knew, not even Ling Tianhu fully understood this spell. To people like them, this spell was something infinitely close to a spell of the third step. The first time the Blood Ancestor felt a trace of fear toward Wang Lin, this fear came from what he personally saw. He personally witnessed the changes that happened to Wang Lin. He witnessed Wang Lin go from a peak late-stage ascendant cultivator to Wang Lin's current stage. This little brat must be lucky. Yes, he must be lucky to be able to use spatial bending. The Blood Ancestor felt extremely bitter. He didn't even turn his head as he quickly fled. At the moment Wang Lin opened his eyes, they revealed clarity. He was still a bit confused on what had just happened. To him, it felt like he had just lifted his right foot and then landed. However, during this process, It was as if he had stepped into the passage of time and everything had passed by him. When his foot landed, he was here, and before him was the blood ancestor he was chasing. My divine sense was not even locked onto him. I only had the intent of killing him, and yet I mysterious crossed an immeasurable distance to reach here. Wang Lin didn't chase the blood ancestor's disappearing figure. He silently pondered the feeling he had before. Compared to chasing the blood ancestor, Wang Lin knew that comprehending this was more precious. Time seemed to pass extremely slowly, but it also felt like it began to move really fast. After half an incense stick of time passed, Wang Lin's eyes revealed enlightenment. He looked down at the void as he lifted his right root and took a step forward. With one step, the ripple appeared once more, but his body was still there. The feeling of his body becoming one with the world didn't appear. Wang Lin frowned. He looked at the direction where the blood ancestor ran to and began chasing. Chasing after the blood ancestor was only one reason, but at this moment, it was more important for Wang Lin to get that feeling of fusing with the world. When Wang Lin thought about what happened before, his heart suddenly skipped a beat. If I can master that kind of spell, won't that mean that I will be invisible and formless? Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light as he moved forward. As time passed, he moved faster and faster until he was like a ray of light that flashed by. That feeling of integrating with the world once again appeared in Wang Lin's heart. He suppressed his excitement and began comprehending it. However, this kind of feeling was extremely ethereal and couldn't be fully mastered. When the feeling started disappearing, Wang Lin let out a sigh. The blood ancestor appeared in his mind, and with one step he disappeared. The escaping blood ancestor felt an uneasiness in his heart. This feeling wasn't this strong even when he faced the Yarrow family ancestor. Just at this moment, his expression changed greatly and he retreated without even thinking. However, at this instant, the shadow of a whip came from the void and mercilessly lashed toward him. The blood ancestor's hands formed a seal to create a ray of bloodlight that collided with the whip, then he quickly retreated. Ripples appeared behind the whip and then Wang Lin walked out from within. The blood ancestor's heart trembled greatly. The scene before him had shaken his world view. After seeing Wang Lin use spatial bending twice in a row, he was no longer able to lie to himself that it was only a fluke. After Wang Lin appeared, he charged forward and his finger pointed at the sky. An underworld river suddenly appeared, and it was filled with sharp, resentful wails that echoed across the void. This underworld river was different from before. The current underworld river was filled with origin energy. It was obvious that as Wang Lin grew stronger, even this spells would fundamentally change. Wang Lin coldly stared at the blood ancestor and softly said, "Origin energy underworld river." In an instant, the underworld river trembled and began to extend indefinitely as if it was going to replace the world. It encompassed everything, including Wang Lin and the blood ancestor. The boundless origin energy filled the world and the countless resentful souls began to gather before they all charged at the blood ancestor from all directions. The blood ancestor's expression was extremely gloomy. Right now he was only an origin soul and was extreme weak. This underworld river made him even weaker, but the blood ancestor was still the blood ancestor. Even now, it would be difficult for Wang Lin to kill him. Despite being surrounded by the underworld river, his face showed a flash of power. Both of his hands formed seals and his body released a blinding, red light. A powerful pressure spread out from his body. Blood transformation. The blood ancestor's origin soul changed and in an instant turned into giant blood claws that shot straight toward Wang Lin. With one swipe, 5 cracks charged toward Wang Lin like roaring dragons. At the moment the cracks closed, Wang Lin raised his right hand. Origin energy filled his body and he slapped the cracks, causing an explosion. Wang Lin backed out of the underworld river and shouted, "Underworld river, soul condense." The countless resentful spirits condensed and origin energy filled them, making them even more fierce. Countless resentful spirits took the form of Yarrow Shishue before they charged toward the blood ancestor. The blood ancestor let out a cry as he turned around and swiped behind as if he wanted to tear this underworld river apart. As for those souls that looked like Yarrow Shishue, even though he knew that they were fake, he was unwilling to attack. Thanks the power of the claws, He was able to rip open a gap in the underworld river and charge out, but countless souls in the form of Yarrow Shishua blocked him. The Blood Ancestor let out a sad cry. His face was filled with resolve and he swiped the blood claws. Countless Yarrow Zixus collapsed while letting out very sad and real cries that fell in the Blood Ancestor's ears. This caused his already injured mind to tremble. The underworld river began to collapse under the Blood Ancestor's attack and the gap grew larger. Finally, the Blood Ancestor charged out with an unspeakable amount of hatred. Wang Lin, you and I can't coexist. After rushing out, although the Blood Ancestor was fierce, his heart felt exhausted. Yarrow Shishua's sorrowful screams constantly echoed in his mind as if they would never dissipate. At the moment he charged out, Wang Lin arrived before him with the soul flag in hand. Black clouds came out from the soul flag and immediately surrounded the Blood Ancestor as he rushed out. The Karma whip entered the black cloud and whipping sounds continuously echo. Wang Lin shouted, "Gather!" All of the black clouds contracted like crazy, but the Blood Ancestor was still resisting inside. Even now he was still the proud Blood Ancestor. As he resisted the black cloud, he continued to be knocked back as it contracted. This cycle continued until the black clouds showed signs of collapse. Wang Lin's eyes became cold and he opened his mouth to spit out origin energy. This origin energy entered the black cloud and suddenly made it feel like it was filled with endless power, causing it to contract like crazy. However, at this moment, the resistance coming from the Blood Ancestor also grew endlessly. Sounds of explosions came from inside and the black cloud actually began to collapse. The Blood Ancestor's muffled roar came through and sounded like roaring thunder in Wang Lin's ears. The Blood Ancestor's roar came out. "You brat, Wang Lin, are not qualified to seal this old man." The dense, black clouds collapsed again. They were now very thin and were about to disappear. Once the black clouds disappeared, it meant that the 1 billion soul flag was destroyed. Wang Lin shouted, "3 primary souls, appear." Inside the cloud, the 3 primary souls, including the Qilin and 4th soul, immediately condensed and began their attack on the Blood Ancestor. Through the clouds, Wang Lin could see the Qilin turn into black smoke and surround the Blood Ancestor. The Qilin's head took shape and bit down on the Blood Ancestor's neck. The 4th soul was constantly flying in and out of the Blood Ancestor. Every time it penetrated the Blood Ancestor's origin soul, it would leave with a large amount of origin energy. There was still that human figure that the last primary soul formed. It turned into black gas that surrounded the Blood Ancestor, making his movements slow. The Blood Ancestor's face revealed a fierce expression and red light flashed from his body while he chanted a complex chant. The red light shined like crazy from his body and gradually filled the black clouds until they looked purple. A roar came out from the Blood Ancestor's mouth. "Blood soul, collapse." The red light around his body was almost demonic and his origin soul suddenly released unimaginable power. The Qilin immediately let out a miserable groan and the impact of the force caused it to dissipate rapidly. Terrified of this, it immediately let go and backed up. The primary soul around the Blood Ancestor collapsed and quickly retreated. Even the 4th soul that penetrated the Blood Ancestor's origin soul was caught by the Blood Ancestor. With a merciless pinch, cracks appeared on it before it dissipated and retreated. Little brat Wang Lin, the Blood Ancestor's eyes were bloodshot as his hand ripped open the black clouds before him. From beginning to end, Wang Lin's eyes were calm. When the Blood Ancestor was about to step out, he opened his mouth and spat out a ray of yellow light. There was a grain of sand inside the yellow light. The moment the sand appeared, a powerful pressure immediately shrouded the area. In an instant, this grain of sand immediately grew until it was more than 1,000 feet wide. It was like a mountain, but it looked more like a stamp. This object had used a celestial fragment as material and was refined in a furnace formed by the heavens with divine retribution. The moment it appeared, it pressed down on the Blood Ancestor with enormous amount of celestial spiritual energy. Crackling sounds immediately came from inside the Blood Ancestor's body and the bloodlight around him weakened. The step he was taking to step out was forced back. The stamp formed by the 1,000-foot fragment descended from the sky. The Blood Ancestor charged out, but after a series of rumbles, he was pressed down under the stamp. When the stamp rose up, The Blood Ancestor looked weaker, but he was still fierce and red light flashed brightly around him. At this moment, the Karma Whip suddenly appeared and lashed toward him. With a bang, the Blood Ancestor's origin soul became more unstable. Just as he was about to retaliate, the stamp smashed down. The Blood Ancestor's origin soul was about to collapse. He let out a miserable smile and his eyes were filled with madness. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's voice came. Blood Ancestor, I will not kill you and will give you a chance to see Yarrow Shishua again. If you explode, you will never see Yarrow Shishua again. Wang Lin's voice was cold. The Blood Ancestor silently pondered and the madness in his eyes slowly disappeared. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as his hand formed a seal and he shouted, Kalek. The surrounding black cloud immediately surrounded the Blood Ancestor. The Karma Whip also appeared and wrapped around the Blood Ancestor. The damaged 3 primary souls also appeared and began to devour like crazy. The stamp floated above, although it didn't press down again, the pressure was still there. This pressure caused the black cloud to contract even more rapidly. It contracted to a ball in almost an instant before turning back into a 30-foot-long flag in Wang Lin's hand. The 100-feet-wide flag spread out and there was a radical change. Before, it was just a black flag with nothing on it, but now there was an image. The Blood Ancestor's figure was lifelike with the Karma Whip around him like a lock and the 3 primary souls fiercely surrounding him. The Blood Ancestor's expression revealed indignation and unwillingness. Just like this, the image on the flag took form. Looking at the 1 billion soul flag, Wang Lin was silent. He didn't feel pride in defeating the Blood Ancestor, and his heart felt melancholy. He had struggled a lot to defeat the Blood Ancestor and was not nearly as calm he seemed on the outside. This fight was filled with life and death moments, and a moment of carelessness would have meant death. This battle was no less dangerous than his escape from the Moongazer Serpent. In fact, it was even a bit more dangerous. After all, the Moongazer Serpent's intelligence was very limited. There is no great hatred between the two of us. If you had just taken Yarrow Shishua with you, you wouldn't have ended up like this, Wang Lin sighed. Unless it was the last resort and he was crazy, he won't have forced the Blood Ancestor down like this. He was helpless on his matter because if he wanted to live, he had to resist. If he wanted to continue to exist, he had to kill the Blood Ancestor that swore to destroy him. Yarrow Shishua was the Blood Ancestor's weakness. In order to seal the Blood Ancestor, Wang Lin had to use this. In the face of survival, there was no such thing as despicable. Wang Lin looked at the soul flag and said, Blood Ancestor, I respect your fatherly love. I also have a son. If someone were to act against my child, I can understand your anger. However, did you give me a chance to explain? I didn't touch your daughter once while I had her captured. If it wasn't for your daughter plotting against me, why would I dare to provoke the Blood Ancestor? He knew that the Blood Ancestor could hear. Could it be that your daughter, Yarrow Shishua, is allowed plot against me, but I'm not allowed to retaliate? You love your daughter, so you don't think about right or wrong and don't think about the cause. Although this is love, it is spoiled love. I gave you a chance, but Senior Blood Ancestor held the idea of killing me. In my eyes, your actions are no different from Yarrow Shishua's. I understood the job of a father 1,000 years ago, but you still don't understand it even today. Wang Lin looked up at the distance and put the flag away. He didn't bother considering if the Blood Ancestor understood. He only needed to have a clear conscience, and this was enough. He raised his right hand and pressed against the celestial fragment. There was a flash of yellow light as it shrank to the size of a grain of sand before Wang Lin swallowed it. He patted his clothes as if he wanted to sweep away all the gloominess from the past several days. Then his body turned into a ray of light and he flew far away. I'll make myself as strong as possible in the Thunder Celestial Realm. My spells are still very lacking. Before, my cultivation level wasn't high enough to be eligible for celestial spells. However, with my current cultivation, I am strong enough to participate in the battles for celestial caves. My goal is a celestial spell. Don't worry, I will definitely go to planet Dong Lin. Whenever there is a trace of hope for you to awaken, I, Wang Lin, will do everything I can to fight for it. Wang Lin placed his right hand between his eyebrows. His increase in cultivation made him even more confident in reviving Li Muwen. Aside from escaping from those old monsters, the other reason he had come to the All-Heaven Star system was to revive Li Muwen. Wang Lin was constantly thinking of Li Muwen as he stepped through the void. His goal was the fragment before him. From this moment on, there was one more powerful person to fight over treasures in the Thunder Celestial Realm, Wang Lin. On the fragment before Wang Lin, Li Yuan's escape was reaching its end. His body was like a lamp without oil. If it wasn't for the people behind him taunting him, he would have already died. What made him even more humiliated was that the man behind him was using him as target practice for various spells. The elder beside the youth gave off a ruthless aura. He would sometimes give pointers to the youth, and every time he did, Li Yuan would suffer even more. Only 3 of the 8 flying swords remained. The rest were lost when he used spells with them. The old man had casually caught them, wiped the divine sense off them, and threw them at the youth. Shortly after, the youth would gift them to the woman beside him. A feeling of indignation brewed inside Li Yuan's heart. The woman's crisp laughter and whiny voice made it even worse for him. Along the He Way, he had suffered even more injuries. He had no time to heal himself and his right arm was beginning to rot. There were white insects moving inside his flesh. These weren't maggots, they were poisonous insects released by the youth behind him. Li Yuan felt that these white insects were inside his body, even inside his origin soul. It was as if his body had become a breeding ground for these insects. Li Yuan's speed became slower and slower. His whole body felt tired and death aura filled his body. His face was no longer pale but a sickly red. Behind Li Yuan, the old man withdrew his gaze and calmly said, "Young master, this person is out of energy." The youth faintly smiled and said, "He's going to die soon, but this person is pretty good to have lasted 13 days. The cultivators before him only lasted 8 days. Ugly uncle, catch me an illusory yin cultivator next time so I can play for a while longer. That way, my octo-soul worms can mature faster." The old man's expression remained neutral as he said, "Okay." It was a very simple word, but it was filled with confidence. Beside the youth, the pretty girl blinked and smiled. "Cousin, how many more swords does that person have?" The youth laughed and wrapped his hand around the woman's waist. "Forget it, these 9 swords are all yours. Not to mention these 9 swords, there is nothing in the Thunder Celestial Realm I can't obtain if I want it. Once we find the source of these swords from this person's origin soul, we can take a trip there." The woman smiled and revealed a charming gaze. Her voice was alluring as she said, "Cousin is someone from the Yarrow family, so you can naturally do it." The youth revealed pride. The Yarrow family was a name even the Thunder Celestial Temple had to respect. As a member of the Yarrow family, it was as he said. As long as he saw it, there was nothing he couldn't obtain. At this moment inside the void, Wang Lin saw the fragment before him. His body flickered and appeared above the fragment. "I wonder where Brother Li is." Wang Lin's divine sense subconsciously spread out, but his expression immediately became gloomy. Killing intent as powerful as when he faced the Blood Ancestor exploded once more. There wasn't much focus in Li Yuan's eyes, it was about to dissipate. "About to die, whatever, then I'll just die. It will be a relief. It's just that I won't be able to teach Brother Shu the restriction heart." Li Yuan let out a bitter smile. He already couldn't see anything around him. There were several white insects moving inside his pupils. The strange thing was that Li Yuan felt no pain. "Even if I die, as someone of the Li family, I have to die with dignity." Li Yuan's eyes focused once more and revealed firm determination. He turned around and looked at the 3 people casually chasing him. There was strong hatred inside Li Yuan's eyes. "I have no hatred against the 3 of you. If you wanted my magical treasures, you could have just taken them, but you toyed with me like this. When I die, I'll turn into a vengeful ghost to vent this hatred." Li Yuan slapped his bag of holding and the remaining 3 swords flew out, giving off fierce sword energy. With a point of his finger, the 3 swords flew toward the youth. "Impudent." The youth sneered as his right hand reached out and a blood hand immediately appeared before him. With one grasp, he caught all 3 flying swords. Li Yuan's expression was fierce. The moment the youth caught the flying swords, his right hand formed a seal and pressed between his eyebrows. A ray of black light as thick as an arm came out between his eyebrows. The black light immediately divided into countless more lines, and as his hands formed seals, they formed restrictions. The moment these restrictions appeared, they divided into 18. In an instant, these restrictions surrounded Li Yuan. He coughed out a large mouthful of blood that landed on the restrictions. However, there were many white insects inside the blood. It was very shocking. After absorbing his blood, these restrictions swiftly flew toward the youth. These restrictions were very fast and rapidly approached the youth. At this moment, the youth had barely managed to grab hold of those 3 swords with his spell. When he saw the restrictions fall from the sky, the youth didn't panic. He let out a cold snort and his eyes were filled with contempt. The old man beside him took a step forward and raised his right hand. Dense origin energy immediately surrounded the area. Break. The old man only said one word. In an instant, the restrictions were surrounded by origin energy and then collapsed. However, after they exploded, they didn't disappear, they turned back into black lines. The black lines condensed together before flying straight for the old man, carrying a destructive aura. The old man slapped his bag of holding, causing an ancient mirror to appear, and he pointed it toward the black line. There was a flash. It was as if the entire world had darkened and all the light had condensed around the ancient mirror. The black line immediately collapsed. Li Yuan's body trembled and he coughed out a large mouthful of blood. His body was filled with death aura. He muttered, "It isn't that my Li family's restriction is lacking, it's because I used too much of my restriction heart helping Brother Shu. After that, I had no time to recover it. How else could this broken mirror be able to stop the restrictions? However, Brother Shu has helped my family greatly, so I don't regret it. If I die, then I'll die." Li Yuan let out a miserable smile. At this moment, the old man stepped forward and threw a kick without even looking at Li Yuan. There was a crackling sound as Li Yuan coughed out more blood and his body landed on the ground. His eyes were dim. That kick had scattered the remaining celestial spiritual energy inside his body, making it so he couldn't retaliate anymore. "Junior Master, this person is no longer dangerous. You can attack now." The old man stepped back and his expression was cold. He didn't feel shame at all from attacking an Ascendant Junior as an illusory yin cultivator. The youth had just barely managed to get a hold of the 3 flying swords, and it was only because Li Yuan's connection with the 3 swords was lost. He caught the swords and directly gave them to the woman beside him. The youth stepped forth with a sneer and said, "Let me see exactly where you found the celestial sword." The youth raised his right hand and pressed down on Li Yuan. "Hurry up, cousin." The woman smiled as she watched all of this. Her eyes were filled with an alluring charm as she played with the celestial sword in her hand. As for the old man, his expression was as calm as usual. Just at this moment, just as that youth named Yaro's hand pressed down on Li Yuan, a ripple suddenly appeared beside him. The originally calm old man's expression suddenly changed at this moment. He charged forward and immediately shouted, "Young master, retreat." The youth was startled. In an instant, an unimaginable killing intent came out from inside the ripple. This killing intent was so powerful that it caused the entire world to turn cold. There was even ice falling from the sky. The youth's expression turned deathly pale. Before he even had time to search Li Yuan's soul, he immediately retreated. However, at this moment, a figure walked out from the ripple. The moment the figure appeared, the killing intent reached its peak. Thundering rumbles suddenly echoed in the sky. The moment the youth retreated, the figure from the ripple stepped forth and pointed at the youth's chest. A wave of cracking sounds echoed and the youth coughed out a mouthful of blood. All of the bones inside his body were broken and he was thrown away. The figure closed in once more and the finger landed between the youth's eyebrows. Rich origin energy entered the youth's body and caused all the celestial spiritual energy inside his body to collapse in an instant. Cracking sounds echoed and the youth's expression became pale. In his eyes, that finger had replaced the world and became the controller of his life. His body was thrown into the air and flew away in an arc. Cracking sound still came from his body in the air, and he coughed out mouthfuls of blood that turned into blood mist. The origin energy in his body surged like crazy. It first destroyed his celestial spiritual energy, then it destroyed his cultivation base, and finally forced all the blood in his body out from his pores. The current him was like a person made of blood in the air. His body gave off a dense blood mist. The origin energy inside his body didn't stop and continued to rage inside his body. All of the muscles in his body were destroyed inch by inch, and all of his internal organs were instantly crushed. This still didn't end. The origin energy was too strong, to the point that it was impossible to measure. After destroying the internal origins, the origin energy rushed to his head. His skull collapsed along with his brain. At this instant, the youth named Yarrow's flesh completely collapsed. When he was only halfway up the air, his entire body collapsed, disintegrated, and dissipated. His origin soul was filled with confusion and unimaginable fear. He even had the impulse to cry. At the moment his body collapsed and his origin soul appeared, the origin energy exploded. This origin energy tore the origin soul apart and completely destroyed it. However, the origin soul didn't dissipate. The origin energy rapidly condensed the origin soul into a fist-sized ball of light. The ball instantly returned to Wang Lin's hand and he pressed it between Li Yuan's eyebrows to help Li Yuan nourish his dissipating origin soul. "Who gave you the qualifications to hurt my friend?" Extremely cold words slowly came out of Wang Lin's mouth. All of this happened in an instant. It was fast beyond imagination. The old man had just moved forward, and before he could get close, everything had already ended. Cold sweat appeared on the old man's forehead. His calmness was gone and his indifference had already collapsed. His calmness and indifference had completely disintegrated. His eyes were filled with horror and even a trace of fear. He wasn't able to clearly see the other person at all earlier. In particular, the rich origin energy that appeared with the ripple made him suck in a breath of cold air. What frightened him even more was the aura that came from inside the ripple. The aura of the youth that came out was actually perfectly merged with the world. Too terrifying. "I know all the corporeal young cultivators, but who is he?" His face was pale and sweat dripped down his forehead. The killing intent from the other person was so intense that it caused his mind to tremble. He subconsciously stepped back a few steps and even had the impulse to immediately escape. Not far away, the woman was completely stunned. The scene before her caused her brain to become temporarily blank. "Shu. Brother Shu," on the ground, Li Yuan's eyes were filled with excitement as he struggled to speak. "Help me. Kill them. This video will end here."